Hey guys, I'm Chris. I just want to take a few minutes to kind of do a basic crash course, I guess, on the hours of service. Had a few people ask some questions recently, so a lot of you have been driving a while, maybe longer than us. It's all kind of second nature to you. Been doing it for a while. Some people starting out, they may not quite get it. It is a little confusing at first, I think. Basically, to start with, you're allowed a 14-hour on-duty period each day. So with your 14 hours on-duty time, you're allowed 11 hours of driving time within that time. There's several things that you must be on duty for. If you're called into a weigh station, while you're at the weigh station, you've got to be on duty. If you're having inspection, you've got to be on duty. If you're loading, unloading, you have to be on duty. If they call you in for any reason, drug, alcohol testing, any of that stuff, you're supposed to be on duty while you're doing that. So keep that in mind with your 14 hours of on-duty time. Now, with your 11 hours of driving, before you cannot drive more than 8 hours at a time. If you exceed 8 hours without a rest break, you will be in violation. So before you hit your 8-hour mark, make sure you find a place to stop, good time to fuel up, or whatever you need to do. Find a truck stop or rest area, travel plaza, whatever. Make sure you get your 30-minute break in. That'll reset your time. People find things that work for them, and sometimes it depends on the load. I mean, if you have a shorter load, I mean, you may not even have to have a break that day. But if you're doing a long haul, cross country, whatnot, you might want to, drive 6 hours and then take a break or whatever. Just my advice is just don't get to a point where you could get stuck in traffic or something and can't find a place to stop and you're running out of time. That's unnecessary. It's a good idea to prepare ahead for that. The other thing to keep a watch on is your 70-hour clock. You cannot exceed 70 hours in an 8-day period. So some people find that confusing because they take their 10-hour rest breaks and they all of a sudden, day 9, they don't have any time because they've exceeded 70 hours. It can happen. So that's on duty, 70 hours on duty. So it's not even necessarily driving time. So something to keep in mind, not only while you're driving, but when you're picking up and dropping off and things like that. That's eating away at your 70-hour clock, so keep an eye on it. Okay, so here we have our Qualcomm C-Link, whether you're FedEx or Landstar, whatever you want to call it. Just real quick, you can, most people probably are familiar with this, but the thing I want to point out is when we go into your
minutes of remaining drive time.
Hours of service here, look at your summary. So we just started out. This is our day 2 back out from our home time. So we just started, and you can see I've got 57 hours, 41 minutes on my 70-hour clock. So it's a good idea at the end of each day to, after you log out or when you log on, take a look at the summary and see where you are with your 70-hour clock and 14 hours on duty, all that sort of stuff, just to kind of see where you stand. Of course, it's important to certify your logs. Good thing with these electronic logs is they pretty much tell you what's required. Now they will. It's not necessarily a fail-safe, because there's times that you really need to do an inspection and it doesn't tell you, but eventually it will tell you. But that's something else. When you first log on in the morning, you do your inspection. Log out here. This is where you do your inspection. Obviously, you should know that by now. But take 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it takes you. Walk around the truck, check your tires, check your lights at least. I recommend doing that at least every day, every time you start to drive. It's a good idea even when you stop, because I mean, things happen while you're driving. I mean, you can get a flat and not realize it sometimes, especially if you don't have a heavy load, and you pull into a way station and guess what, you have a flat tire. Now you're in trouble. So anytime you stop, it's a good idea just to walk around, thump your tires, do whatever. If you're fortunate enough to have the air pressure indicator on the dash, that's awesome. That's great. I still like to check on myself, not just rely on that. But I hope this helps. This is just, like I said, it's kind of a crash course, basic stuff. I'm not going to get into personal conveyance or anything like that. When it comes to expediting, usually your team drivers, and our experience is usually one of us has hours no matter what. So even if we're just running an errand to go get some groceries at Walmart, we just log on and drive, or we'll do it before we go pick up or after we drop off a load or something like that. And hope this helps. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.